All right, good afternoon and welcome to the Blythewood Town Council meeting. Today is Monday, June 22nd, 2026. The time is 6 p.m. Mr. Driggers will be stepping in for Ms. Durst, who is has an excused absence. Would you please call the roll, sir? You know I had to get you on your last meeting. Actually, no, I'm just messing with you. Doug, would you please call the roll? No, Doug, call the roll. I got to make you laugh one last time.
I've been here 3 weeks. Hopefully I can remember everyone's name every time I have to do this. Councilman Hovis. Here. Councilman Brock.
Yep.
Mayor Pro Tem Fripp.
Here.
Councilman McHenry.
Here.
Mayor Griffin.
Here, thank you, sir. Was the meeting posted according to state law?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Who are you talking to?
At this time, I'll be looking for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Mr. Mayor, I'd
Yes,
like
sir.
to move to amend the agenda, and I would move that we add a new section under Section 8, executive session. This new section would be labeled 9, reconvene would be 10, and adjournment would be 11. The Section 9 that I would propose adding is, what's the correct verbiage? Items that may require a vote after executive session. And since this is an action item and would fall under the exigent or emergency circumstances, my reasoning would be for council to consider the fact that the items addressed in executive session may involve unauthorized access and use of town assets and unauthorized spending of town resources. Potential.
Thank you, sir. Any objection?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, sir. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
Now I'll move to approve the agenda as amended.
Thank you. Looking for a second. Second discussion. Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Please join myself for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me for prayer. Heavenly Father, we'll thank you for this day. We'll thank you for watching over each and every one of us as we drove here, and we asked for that same protection driving home. Please continue to watch over this meeting, watch over this town, help and lead and guide us as leaders for this great town. Watch over our first responders, military, domestic, and abroad. All these things we ask in your name, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay.
Next item on the agenda, council member remarks. To my right, any?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
No, I don't have.
Oh, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
It's okay.
Councilman Brock.
Okay. Thank you, Councilwoman Hovis. I just wanted to, and I'm sure most people are aware of this, but maybe not everybody, and at least we can get something on the record here, that on Saturday evening in Finley Park, the city of Columbia attempted to host, well, they did. I don't want to say attempted. That's the wrong word. They hosted a Juneteenth celebration. And it started during the day, and then it crept into the evening. And I wanted to read an excerpt from the response from the organizer of the Juneteenth celebration. And I have my contacts on, so you have to forgive me. I can't really see up close. It said, one paragraph in the sentence that I'm going to read said, throughout the day, emphasis on day, thousands of people gathered peacefully. Families celebrated together. Vendors and small businesses were supported. Young people participated in positive activities. Performers shared their gifts. Community members connected across generations. That is the full story of the day, and one unfortunate incident should not erode the spirit. I agree. Spirit, work, and impact of the full celebration. It goes on to say, during the evening portion of the festival, several altercations involving a small number of individuals occurred in and around the park. CPD, officers responded. Long story short, they ended up canceling the event at that time around 7 o'clock, according to Chief Holbrook. I think it's important for this body and the public to know that this is not an incident that's isolated to Blythewood. Notice that during the day, there were no problems, as stated by the Juneteenth organizer. It's when the evening rolled around that problems reared their ugly heads. And yes, it's only a few individuals that spoil it for the bunch, but that is no different than what we have had here in Blythewood. And I know that we can potentially talk about this during the budget, during the second reading of the budget if you wanted to, but I think this is kind of one of the reasons why we moved to not fund nighttime events, or at least not until we have a more well-defined plan. And what's interesting is that this is the city of Columbia. Finley Park has I don't know, $10, $15 million renovation. Does that sound about right? Maybe even more, Doug, recently. They have gates and fences around the park, and they still are not immune to the problems that occur at large festivals. So I just thought that would be interesting to put that, thank you, sir, on the, one more. Put that on the record that Blythewood is not the only town that has issues like this, and that until there's a more permanent solution, I think that limiting our events to daytime events is the right move. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. To my left, any remarks from council?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No, sir.
Thank you. Move to mayor's remarks. Yeah, we don't have you good? Okay. All right, moving to mayor's remarks. Unfortunate event at Finley Park. I'm proud of them that the way they put it together. They will regroup. I talked with those organizers. They will regroup. They will replan and figure something out. This is something that happens across the country, but we have a duty to figure out a solution. And one thing that I challenge folks that I conversate with on a daily or if not weekly is that we have a duty to figure out a solution to some of these problems. One thing I do hate, I'm going to put this on the record, when I read comments online that antagonizes possible solutions. Yes, something happened. Something happened at every event. Every event somewhere in the United States and the world, something bad happens. Unfortunately, we're seeing some upticks, and we as a community have a duty to respond, a duty to put together what needs to be put together as far as resources. And that's what I am committed to do with the folks that I associate with, is to work on solutions, not keep complaining about the problem. It's time to come up with solutions. It's time to give the taxpayers what they're asking for. I read all over the trends, people asking, is Blythewood having the 4th of July? They know we're not having the 4th of July. But as a community, we can do something, and we are doing something here with the farmers market, thanks to staff. But as we look into the future, at some point we have to get off of that train and figure out solutions. So I will close my remarks, and we will move to the approval of the minutes from the Town Council regular May 26th, Town Council special call June 8th meeting.
Move to accept as presented.
Thank you, sir. Looking for a second. Second discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. At this time, I will pause for a moment for public comment. This portion of the meeting is designated for public comments as provided for by municipal ordinance. Public comments must be limited to items on the agenda. Each speaker will have up to 3 minutes to address council. All comments will be entered into the official record, and no action will be taken during the hearing itself. Miss, come on up to the podium, ma'am. Click the microphone for me. Click. Hold the button at the top.
Is it on now?
There you
Yes,
go.
ma'am.
You got it.
Okay. Hey, council, I'm sorry, I should have directed it to y'all first. I apologize. I just wanted to thank Mr. Jurgens personally for coming in at a time when our town was upside down, changing the form of government, turning everything over and just running smoothly, making yourself available to all of us at any time. Don't think that went unrecognized and unnoticed. I noticed it and so did a lot of others. So with that being said, I'd like to wish you a farewell. We're going to miss you. Believe me, we will. A lot of us will. You know, we thank you for everything that you've done for the town and how you backed us up. So, I'd like to give you a little parting gift.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wish to speak? Hearing none, we'll close public comment at 6:11. Next, we'll move to boards and committee updates, starting with Doco Meadows Foundation. Councilwoman Hovis. Thank you. Next, we'll go to item B, Central Midlands Council of Government, myself. We had a very good turnout for the first part, the public input session for the feasibility study. The numbers I got is somewhere around 100. They're still finalizing those numbers that came through. I got out, engaged with folks. That was a great opportunity. Things that we have heard before, and suggestions that we have heard before, but it's important to get those things into the new long-range planning documents so that we could qualify for potential funding moving forward. So looking for that as soon as I get the draft copy, review that with the staff. I'll make sure that council gets a copy of that. And then we look forward to the next phase of that project. I am still holding for Gateway, the Gateway project, so we can get a Gateway sign put up. I'll keep you guys updated on that as soon as I hear something. Next, we'll move on to Richland County Transportation Penny Tax Advisory Committee, TPAC, Councilman McKendrick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would advise the public, many of you have probably noticed, if you haven't, you will. There is no more left-hand turn out of Food Lion. There's a concrete median that has been installed. I have reached out to Mr. Maloney's office and asked that we put a nighttime flashing light indicating you cannot turn left, just to help after dark with people realizing there's a concrete median in front of you. More concrete medians have been installed just over the last few days. As a matter of fact, passing tonight, they were cutting one of those, sawing the grooves in it. Please be aware that we are moving toward completion of concrete medians as far as the roundabout goes, and it is just some forced traffic patterns that were otherwise strongly suggested by cones and barrels. Now it's forced by concrete median. McNulty, the update on McNulty, 100% of right-of-way has been purchased and is complete on the McNulty improvements, and 99% of right-of-way purchase has been complete, and I believe they're at 80% of engineering on Creech Road. So those are still moving along, albeit slowly, both funded through the current penny, not the new penny, and we'll keep you posted on official dates of beginning that construction. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Next, we'll move to staff reports. Item A, financial reports. Mr. Poland.
Sure. So you have in your additional packet the financial report right now. It is not complete, but it's probably 99% complete. I just wanted to let y'all know there may be some changes on this. And so right now, our total income for the month was $474,828.85. And so our total expenses for the month were $112,516.99. We have invested a net operating income of $362,311.86. Year to date, we have brought in $5,028,483.70. Year-to-date, our expenses have been $2,715,109.84, leaving us with a net operating income of $2,313,373.86.
Thank you, sir. Any questions on the financial reports? Thank you. Moving on, continuing with you, sir, town manager report.
Sure. So what I've been doing is giving y'all on Fridays a weekly update on my activities and the town's activities. And so going forward, you don't have it in this packet, but all of those weekly reports will go into the packet. And so there'll be a record of that for the citizens to know what's happening here at Town Hall. But in addition to that, just want to let you know that I reached out to Civic Plus today. I know on Wednesday we voted to move forward with the software for both the agenda management and for the facilities management softwares. And so that contract has been signed. And we're going to start moving forward on scheduling, getting that updated. It'll probably be sometime around September 1st when we are ready to go live. Also, I spoke with Jason today about Snipes Electricians, and they should be boring under the asphalt next week and have the pedestal up sometime in July.
Cool. Thank you. Questions for our town manager? Hearing none, thank you. And we have remarks from our interim town manager, Ed Driggers.
It's more of a goodbye, but I did ask for permission to address you tonight. I found it a bit interesting as I look back over the past 16 months, and was a bit surprised that I served in an interim capacity for you longer than some of your managers have been here in the history of the town. And that's, you know, in smaller communities, that's not overly unusual. But it's been a good run. I think there's things that we've accomplished. I think there's things that we wish we had been able to accomplish. And I think as in any type of environment, like an interim, there's things that we're very glad we were able to do. And there's things that we probably wish we had had opportunity to accomplish sometime during that as well. But for 16 months, I've been with you. And it's been a great run. I spent 9 of those months as your interim town administrator. And then, of course, we had a change in the form of government. And so I spent the 6 months following that as your interim town manager. In the last several weeks since June 1st, when Mr. Poland came on board, I've been serving more in a true consulting in relationship with him in the transition as we is on board for him to come on board with us. And so this week is my last week with you. I'll be in the office through this Wednesday, and then on Thursday and Friday, I'll be doing some remote work, really just kind of finalizing and getting project closure for everything that we've done, so that everything is lined out. All the email transitions have been made. Everything's prepared to make sure that it's shifted over to Doug, and he doesn't miss a beat as we continue to move forward, as you guys continue to move forward. I was really pleased when I sat back and I looked at your agendas for the past 16 months. Some of the things that you really were able to spend time on. Some of those, particularly for us, our form of government public referendum was a huge piece of involvement that we had together as we looked at whether the town wanted to pursue that. Once the decision was made that you did want to do that, making sure that we were providing public education to our community relative to that. And then once the election was held, and then informing the community how that transition would take place. We transitioned as well through new town council elections that were held. We actually got the form of government adopted on board last November. And then we conducted your town manager search and was able to bring, again, Doug on board on June 1st. And so those are just kind of a couple of bullet points that are there, but a lot of process to get us there. One of the things that we talked about very early on in the process is that we wanted to make sure that before the town went to search for a new town manager or a town administrator, we didn't know at the time, well, that we were able to communicate to those applicants what the environment here would look like. And you were very, very intentional about that process. And I think that proved itself to be very valuable to you. You had an extremely a very good talent pool of folks when you were looking for your town manager. And I think that was a testament to your patience and the council for you guys really envisioning how you wanted to get to the end of that process. Those things don't just fall into place. They have to be very intentional conversations. They have to be very well thought out processes. And so you're to be commended for that. Our staff has remained relatively stable for us. We're not a large staff, but we've remained relatively stable. We've had some turnover. We were able to do an evaluation and an implementation strategy for here at the Manor, bringing this facility back as an enterprise fund, positioning it to be able to look at this facility the way that you had envisioned you wanted to do that. So we've been able to get that in place. We were very intentional in our strategic planning process. You came up with priorities that you wanted to identify for this year and moving forward. Those priorities were paramount. Those strategies, those long-term strategies were paramount as we looked at pillars for the budget, how we decided what kind of resources would be spent in the budget. And then I had the pleasure of working with you over 2 budget cycles. Worked with you in the one last year as we worked through the strong mayor form of government and the role that the administrator had in that process. And then this year preparing the budget under a manager form of government, which as we saw looked a bit different, somewhat different for us as we moved forward. One of the things that I know we talked about when I came on board with you was my understanding and relationship of what a large-scale automobile manufacturer can look like and how it can impact a community. I spent 20 years managing a city that had BMW inside it. Now 26 years later, I still have the benefit of seeing the changes that took place in that community, not always as a direct result of just them being there, but as a direct result of how a community grows and evolves. And I will say to you that in that process, there is pain in that process, and there can be great celebration in that process as well. Do know that the economic prosperity of this community will continue to grow. There will be opportunities for economic prosperity here that probably would not have happened otherwise. We don't always know what these game changer events are, but Scout Motors being here is certainly a game changer for you, and you're going to feel the impact from that for a very long time, I believe. But do also know that the concerns that you and others have relative to the growth of this community, that is in your control. You have the zoning capability, you have the management opportunities for what takes place within your municipal limits. I think you folks have a really good handle, a vision on what you think that should be. And I think you've got a manager on board who's got great background experience on the planning side, understands the concepts that are absolutely needed to help get you there. And so you're well positioned for the challenges that I think you're going to face as part of having that opportunity with Scout being here. I think in the last 16 months, we've seen some process improvements. I certainly think we've seen some management stabilization. We've seen some efforts and some direct results of employee accountability that's needed to be there, and then also long-range planning. And ultimately, you'll determine what you think what is indeed in a long-range plan. But certainly, that's kind of what you did this year, whether you're looking 1 year out, 3 years out, capital improvement plans for 3 to 5, 5 years to 10 years on on more community plans, and then certainly master planning out beyond that 10-year and beyond stage. You've allocated resources in your budget to be able to address those things, and you'll be spending a lot of time working on that. I know it is of great interest to you, and you've got great opportunity to be doing that as well. So I just want to say thank you. I appreciate the opportunity that you've given me to come and spend time with you. Someone was asking me recently, what's next? And yesterday I signed a contract to go do something somewhere else very similar. And so it's the nature of what I do as a consultant. And so my next stop will be helping another community as they transition from a manager to a new manager coming on board with them as well. And so, but a little bit at a little different pace. I won't be as present. It's a much smaller community than you, and so it'll be a little different environment. So again, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. I remember our first meeting well in that room back there, and you've helped me grow professionally, and I hope that I have brought something to you. I hope that I've brought something to the table that has allowed you to grow as a community and as a council as well. So thank you for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to pause for a second. Council member remarks. I'm seeing some fingers. Okay, I thought. All right, thank you, sir. Next, we'll go to proclamations. Councilman Brock.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is going to be a surprise to someone, but I would like to present a proclamation to Councilwoman Andrea Fripp. Yep, the look on your face says it all. Yep, these are for you.
Well, thank you.
There's more. And Ms. Merritt, it was very interesting that I'll get back to you in a second. It's nothing bad. I'm going to do the best I can and read this, since again, I have my contacts in. It says, Town of Blythewood Proclamation of Recognition, the Honorable Andrea Fripp, June 22nd, 2026. Whereas Leadership Columbia, offered by the Columbia Chamber since 1972, is a premier leadership development program designed to cultivate informed, engaged, and effective leaders throughout the Midlands. And whereas on June 2nd, 2026, the Honorable Andrea Fripp was one of 62 professionals who graduated as members of the Leadership Columbia class of 2026 after successfully completing the program's rigorous 10-month curriculum focused on leadership development, community engagement, professional growth, and regional collaboration. And whereas through the program, participants gained valuable insight into critical issues affecting the Midlands, including education, government, economic development, and human services, while building meaningful relationships and strengthening their commitment to the community leadership. And whereas, as a part of the Leadership Columbia experience, the class of 2026 partnered with Cola Town Bike Collective, a local nonprofit organization, completing a transformative community service project that included interior renovations, exterior improvements, marketing and advocacy initiatives, and infrastructure enhancements that generated $24,059.97 in in-kind donations, $10,020 in monetary donations, and a total project value of $34,079.97, while also contributing 1,375 volunteer service hours. And whereas demonstrating her commitment to lifelong learning, servant leadership, civic engagement, and the continued advancement of the town of Blythewood and the greater Midlands community, the Honorable Andrea Fripp serves as the Community and Business Development Officer for First Palmetto Bank, is a proud South Carolina State University alumna, and has faithfully served the citizens of Blythewood. Whereas the Honorable Andrea Fripp has distinguished herself as a leader in business, philanthropy, and community development through her service as an advisory board member for the Midlands Business Accelerator and Range for Hope Foundation, financial secretary for the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, honorary co-chair, volunteer, and member of the NAACP Freedom Fund Gala, member of the Black Economic Leadership League, BELL, development co-chair for South Carolina Women in Leadership, and vice chair of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, Greater Piedmont Chapter, and as a member of the Blythewood Town Council since 2003. And now therefore be it proclaimed that the Town Council of the Town of Blythewood hereby congratulates and recognizes the Honorable Andrea Fripp upon her successful graduation for Leadership Columbia Class 2026 and expresses its sincere appreciation for her outstanding leadership, community service, and continued dedication to the citizens of Blythewood and the Midlands region. It is signed by all the members of council and says, in witness whereof I have unto, not me, we have here, well, I can see why this is confusing, Mr. Mayor. In witness hereof, I have hereunto set my hand and accosted the seal of the town of Blythewood be affixed on this 22nd day of June, 2026.
Wow. Thank you. This is appropriate.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Jordan, would you mind coming and getting a picture with the rest of us? Members of council join up front. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Brock. Congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you.
Next, we have another proclamation, Mayor Pro Tem Fripp.
And continuing in the same vein of proclamations, this one is for Ed Driggers. Ed Driggers, this is from the body, and we all came together on this proclamation for you because you really came through for us at a very pivotal time. And so it says, Town of Blythewood, Proclamation of Appreciation, Ed Driggers, June 22nd, 2026, Town of Blythewood, South Carolina. Whereas Mr. Ed Driggers answered the call to public service when the town of Blythewood faced a period of transition and uncertainty. And whereas, drawing upon decades of experience in municipal administration, he provided steady leadership, sound counsel, and professional guidance to the town council during the transition to the council manager form of government. And whereas, his commitment to accountability, transparency, organizational effectiveness, and public service helped guide the town through an important organizational transition and support the implementation of its new form of government. And whereas Mr. Driggers approached every challenge with professionalism, integrity, patience, and a genuine dedication to the citizens of Blythewood. And whereas his willingness to serve in an interim capacity ensured continuity of operations, stability in government, and confidence in public administration during a critical period in the town's history. And now, therefore, it be proclaimed, the Town Council of the Town of Blythewood does hereby express its sincere appreciation and gratitude to Mr. Ed Driggers for his dedicated service to the town and its citizens and extends its best wishes for continued success in his future endeavors. And it is signed by the mayor and all of council, and we thank you again for coming in and doing all that you have done for us. So thank you, Ted Riggers.
Come on up and take a photo, sir.
Your item was appropriate. You just didn't know it. When you spoke about an item not on the agenda, it actually was. We just couldn't say anything.
I didn't see it.
It was there. It was hidden because he didn't know either.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes, sir. Councilman McKendry, sorry.
Ed, I did not make remarks under councilman remarks because I knew the proclamation was coming. And then during your remarks, you kind of stole my thunder and did the highlights of what we've accomplished under your interim leadership. And I hearken back to the interview we did with you in executive session. And I think I've said this to you privately. I do want to say it publicly. You came into this situation with your eyes wide open. You knew exactly where Blythewood was. And you shared with us the hope of where Blythewood could get. And so I do thank you personally for the months you've been here and what you have guided Blythewood through. The fact that you came from Greer was interesting to me. And I was hopeful that you could help lead us through the early relationship issues with Scout and just to keep those key relationships on the right track, which you've done. The change of government was no small feat, but we rose to the result of the referendum, and then you helped guide us through transitioning from one form to the other. Much appreciated. You mentioned strengthening staff. I think that has been accomplished. Moving people to areas where their talents and expertise was better utilized. You brought many of those suggestions forward to council with much appreciation. Strategic planning, you actually led us through that process. We did not use the municipal association this year. You had the expertise and led us through that. It was a little bit of a different process, but still very, very beneficial to council. As you mentioned, 2 budget cycles that you laid council through, one on your own and the second through assisting Doug as he was coming in, which we'll hopefully have second reading of tonight. And then survived the election cycle with a new appointee to council, and Ms. Hovis made sure she was coming on board with all the information she needed. I relied on you heavily during the boards and commission realignment. You were always available by phone, email, text to get that straightened out. And then, of course, the manor improvements under Will Louder, which stay tuned. I'm sure you'll hear how those are going. We look forward to the enterprise fund taking off and good things happening as a result of that. I would have went on, but you did highlight many of the effective things that we accomplished while you were here as interim. So I personally want to thank you and wish you much success in your next endeavor. And I hope it's not quite as strenuous as this one was.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to pause, make sure I ain't miss anybody for remarks. I'll end with this one, Mr. Driggers. A lot of folks wouldn't know this, but the letter I left on your desk for the first day of your starting here, every word in that letter I meant. Every word in that letter we lived by. Through the disagreements amongst us up here, and maybe some that may disagree with you, but we lived up to that challenge in that letter. We are Blythewood. We are strong. We are better than when you first came in. I was proud to have you part of our team. I was glad to have you part of leading us. Coming in, I yield to you because you understood exactly where we are headed, and I definitely appreciate that from you. Best wishes moving forward. We wanted to keep you, but you got us Doug, and we know Doug is going to do an outstanding job. We're looking forward to that. So we thank you for what you've done. We thank you for getting us to the position of Doug and Mr. Poland. The train is all yours. You're there. You go. Pull that whistle again. We're looking forward to what you will bring to the table for many years to come. So thank you to you, sir, and thank you. Bright future ahead for Blythewood.
Well, Mr. Mayor, remember, we had an agreement between us. There was only 3 things that were off limits. I asked you, as long as you wouldn't ask me to do anything illegal, immoral, or unethical, I was your guy to help you get where you needed to be. And you lived up to your end of the bargain, and I hope I lived up to my end of the bargain.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, thank you, sir. Moving to old business, item A, second reading, action item, discussion and approval of ordinance 2026.005, an ordinance to amend the town's existing Freedom of Information Act policy to provide for future amendments and to provide for other related matters. I'll go to our attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mayor and Council. Just a few things to bring to your attention before second reading of this. After some discussions with Mr. Poland in his review, on the first page of the policy, there are 3 bullet points there. But to make sure that this policy doesn't need to be amended in the event that there is a new town clerk at some point. It has been suggested that that 3rd bullet point should be changed or amended to by electronic mail to the town clerk. And then to add a 4th bullet point there to state by online application. I think it is intended at some point in the future to have an application that can be fillable online. So those would be the only amendments to the policy itself. The other thing that I wanted to bring to council's attention, I don't think there's anything else that necessarily needs changing. The other thing I wanted to bring to council's attention, and that gives me any pause whatsoever, is section 6 of the ordinance itself, which allows changes to this policy by resolution rather than by ordinance. I believe that that is proper. I think it can be done because there, as you know, in state law, there is a list of things that must be done by ordinance. As for instance, a budget. A budget must be done by ordinance. There is nothing in state law that requires a FOIA policy to be done by ordinance. So my take on this is it is a internal council procedural thing to pass this ordinance and then allow within that same ordinance for the policy to be changed by resolution. Now, some may have a different view of that out there. I think it is proper. So either second reading of this ordinance can be given tonight as is, or we can take a step back and just at the next meeting pass this policy by resolution. And once it's passed by resolution, that removes that question about whether this policy that is enacted by ordinance can later be changed by resolution. So those are the 2 things that I wanted to bring to council's attention tonight. Those amendments to the bullet points on the first page, and then the sort of internal procedural matter about whether passing this as an ordinance or just approving it as a resolution.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for our attorney before we vote, Ms. Hovis?
Yes, thank you. So help me understand how we can pass by resolution rather than ordinance. To me, and I'm not an attorney, but precedent usually is that government can be more restrictive rather than less restrictive. And this to me seems like it's a less restrictive maneuver unless, I need some education on that part.
Okay, as I just explained, I believe that this is a matter of internal council procedure rather than an
External law.
yeah, an external law, or that principle that we're talking about is usually if something is passed by ordinance and it has to be done by ordinance, it needs to be done by ordinance again. Here, I think there is nothing in state law that requires a FOIA policy to be done by ordinance. So if within the ordinance itself, council is saying, by ordinance, we're saying that this can be done by resolution later on, I think that is proper. But if anyone is uncomfortable with that, I'm saying we can take a step back. We can bring it back next month, next meeting, and pass it as a resolution if that's the will of council to do.
Well, that would be my preference, because I think if you open the door to pass by resolution, it allows future council members to make changes to fees, policies, internal processes by resolution rather than ordinance.
I mean, that could be unintended consequences.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Balazar, pardon me. So if I'm hearing you correctly, it is your opinion that this policy could be adopted and amended via a resolution?
Yes,
Okay. So, and it would establish precedent by adopting this via resolution.
establish what kind of precedent?
Like that it can be, that's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to, because if we adopt it via resolution, then it's adopted. The only other thing would be to amend it, or we could cancel it, rewrite it, whatever.
Right.
But we could do all that by resolution. So that would establish a precedent that this is what council's done to adopt or amend a FOIA policy.
Sure.
Okay, my question is, and I sent Mr. Poland an email earlier with a suggestion. It doesn't have to be implemented, but I thought it wasn't a bad one. So my preference, members of council, would be to adopt it via ordinance, and then if we want to adopt it via an ordinance as it's presented, and then amend it via resolution at the next meeting. And for the suggestions that the changes that you made, removing the email address. Sure, we can do whatever, yeah. We could absolutely do that.
Why would you do that?
I'm not sure why you're breaking that into two steps.
I think we should adopt it via ordinance. I don't think we should adopt it. I don't think we should adopt it via a resolution. I think we should amend via resolution, but I think we should adopt via ordinance.
So, well,
This allows for
I guess
resolution.
beyond me, but I guess at this point, you could make a motion to approve the ordinance without the,
Well,
I mean,
we can
as it is,
amend it. It doesn't matter. If you said that you believe that it could be adopted via resolution and amended via resolution.
Yes.
You also stated someone else may disagree.
correct. Hey,
Yeah, I think we should
So-
do it
so-
via ordinance. But
Just a
that's-
question, why not adopt it by ordinance and just put in here if we want to change it, it needs to be done by ordinance? I think that's the heartache that
Ordinance requires 2 readings. A resolution only requires
I understand.
one motion.
right,
Yeah, I understand.
right. There's lots of ways to go about
the eye.
this. Yes.
Okay,
Lots of ways to go about it.
And I think my,
And my point is, taking a step back, this probably never needed to start as an ordinance. It probably should have just started as a resolution. Again, nobody ever said, Pete, we need an ordinance or Pete, we need a resolution. It was, Pete, we need a FOIA policy.
Gotcha.
And so,
So,
and my drafting was, okay, well, let's do, here's the ordinance that enacts this policy.
I think my main questions would be, on first reading, I voted in favor of this because we were looking for the fee schedule to kind of put teeth to it. Pete, I actually think, when questioned by Councilwoman Hovis, is there any substantial change from what you're presenting tonight versus what we were adhering to before? And I think you said no. So I was waiting for the fee structure to say, okay, we're going to put teeth to this. But our fee structure is kind of cut and paste from what you're recommending. So I guess my question, and for both of you, Ed, feel free to weigh in here. If we were presented the same situation that got us on the FOIA bandwagon of questioning, do we need a policy? Do we need an ordinance? Does, in your opinion, anybody's opinion, does this change how that would have been resolved?
Not really. I mean, in the end, it was council that stepped in and directed how that was to be resolved. Under this policy, there are no waiver of fees are to be allowed. The fees would be addressed in the same way as the administration, not council, was looking at the fees.
So we could have ended with the same
Yes,
decision to charge X for Y.
yes. I mean, I think it could have ended in the same place. This policy takes away, and I say take away. I don't know that there was any discretion there to begin with, whether to waive fees or not. I don't think there was that discretion. But this specifically says the town manager can't play favorites or put one FOIA request on a pedestal above another and say, this one's got public importance, but this one doesn't, so I'm going to waive fees for this one and not this one. That, to me, seems troublesome right there, to pick and choose who gets charged a fee and who doesn't. So, I mean, going back to your original question, I mean, I think if we had this policy in place and the issue got pressed, I think the only place it could end up is either in court or in front of this council for a decision on whether to waive.
I know that I agree with what our attorney is saying, picking favorites, but I know in speaking with Mr. Driggers, an idea that he had that I think is great, and frankly, one that I've employed most of my career, is if it's less than an hour, just waive the fee for everybody. Because honestly, most of the requests we get take 5 minutes. It takes more effort to try to figure out a bill than it does to just simply give the person what they've requested. Now, when someone wants something, they want 10 years of stuff that requires going to the archives, yeah, I'm going to bill you for all you're worth. But if it's a simple, I need a contract, I need a document, I don't really want to calculate 7 minutes of my time or, of any of my staff's time. So a thought that we have would be make an amendment that the first hour at any rate would be free, but then and that will probably cover over 95% of the FOIA requests.
How does that square with the policy's provision that allows the attorney to charge the attorney's typical rate to review the request from a legal perspective, which I'm not sure is in FOIA or is permissible? Was that in our original policy, was that the attorney could charge your hourly rate to review the request?
I don't think this policy allows the attorney to do anything. It allows the town manager the discretion to say the town can charge as the lowest salaried employee who has the skill and expertise to do this. that is the rate that is going to be charged for the search, retrieval, or redaction of records. It doesn't allow the town attorney, whoever that is, to do anything. It allows the town manager in his or her discretion to say, you know what, this is a very involved request. We are going to have to review this thing for redactions or exemptions pursuant to state law. I don't know what an example of that would be, but this is a very involved request. And because of that, the attorney needs to review this and to see if there's any redactions that need to be done to that. I will say, in my time here and in all of my experience, FOIA requests like that are rare. I mean,
So why would we include that? Maybe that language is not there and I misread it. And I did think that it was written in this presented policy.
It is.
It is in the presented policy, because we have had that situation arise. I mean, I say
It's an
rare.
anomaly. I'm not
I
sure. We
wouldn't
could
know. I don't-
include 1,000 anomalies.
Yeah, maybe
and-
maybe it's an anomaly, but like Mr. Poland says, 95% of FOIA requests, I don't even see. I don't know that they come through. They get processed and they get done because someone says, I want to see a copy of so-and-so contract. I mean, that's not something that
You withheld the one from Barbara Ball, the original discussion that we had that started this, in my opinion. Were we going to charge $500 for the information regarding the $20,000 check, et cetera? I thought that was a pending situation and she hadn't been responded to in several weeks, pending legal review or some sort of opportunity to redact information. Perhaps I got that wrong.
right. I withheld. I didn't withhold anything.
Okay, I apologize.
I mean,
I thought that we didn't get her that information for quite some time.
I certainly didn't withhold anything under state law and under our policy and under our, I guess, policy of not waiving any fees. That was the fee that we had been told at that time.
I never saw that. I
Right.
never saw that
Nothing was
fee.
withheld. We were going, if those fees would have been paid immediately, that document would have been in the requester's hands immediately. The only reason there was any problem there is because there was an objection to the fees that the town was asking for. So nothing was being withheld. The document was going to be forthcoming.
We couldn't explain the fee. To me, that's not presenting a fee to a customer properly if you can't explain the fee. It seemed like an arbitrary request. And to me, that seemed like we were holding that carrot over their head until they paid up. So for me, I just never understood. I was not able to determine from the third-party vendor that we used what constituted the need to charge the $500. To me, it was a request that perhaps it was a year old. I'm not sure, and I don't know why we would have done that. To me, it was a legal situation. Perhaps it wasn't your call, so I retract that comment.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure if there was a question or if there's something I need to respond to there.
No, I don't have a question. Thank you.
All right. Any further questions on this policy? All right.
Mr. Mayor, are we tabling this? Or
Well,
are
that's
we-
what I'm about to ask. I want to make sure y'all got discussion out the way. All right, here we go. So would be the will,
I'm sorry, I have another question.
All
So if
right,
we're
discussion.
tabling, if we're tabling this, are we tabling it to discuss whether or not this will be an ordinance or a resolution?
If I understand the town attorney correctly, if this is, I guess the motion would be to postpone indefinitely, which would put it on the next regularly scheduled meeting.
Right.
That would allow this policy to be adopted via resolution. We could move to adopt and pass second reading as an ordinance. If I'm also understanding the town attorney, moving forward, any amendments we wish to make could be done via resolution. Am I clear on that?
Yes,
Okay.
you are, Counselor.
That's why I'm of the opinion to just go ahead and pass it. And then if we need to amend it, we can amend it via resolution. It's here tonight. If the recommended amendments that the town attorney recommended was to remove the town clerk's current email address. I actually recommend we use a FOIA at townofblythewood.sc.gov generic email address that forwards to the current town clerk, because some people like to use emails. Some people may not be comfortable with fillable websites, but that would ultimately be the goal, where you could submit your request via
You can do it multiple
cloud.
ways.
Yeah,
You
or do it
multiple
both ways.
In
You
person.
can walk
by
in
mail.
on a cocktail napkin and say, I want to see this. This is my FOIA request.
Right.
And
We
that's
are
it.
not saying there's,
Yeah, no,
only
I know
one
we're not
way.
limiting. But to your point, Ms. Durst, I mean, she will not be the town clerk in perpetuity. She just won't. So, Councilwoman Fripp, I don't know if I answered your question, but I'm of the opinion to pass it tonight, and as with the recommendations of, with the recommended amendments by the town attorney, which would be to.
I mean, I think at this point, if someone is so inclined, a motion could be made that way, or a motion could be made to postpone indefinitely and to direct the town attorney to prepare a resolution for approval of the FOIA policy.
But that also comes with additional time and money.
I mean, it
It
yeah.
does, but I mean, it does.
Yeah.
And Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
One more question. This is to Doug. Through the budget planning and the fee structure, which you've done and you're going to be presenting, I believe we indicated you were going to do this annually, correct?
That's correct.
Can we put some teeth to the FOIA request fees? I mean, we know how much a CD or a DVD is going to cost per CD or DVD. We know how much a flash drive is going to cost,
Sure.
at least for the next year.
Sure.
So then if those are going to be increased next year budget cycle, put it on there. That way, when somebody goes to our website and they're looking for a FOIA fee, we can see, okay, if I'm going to ask for a flash drive, it's going to cost whatever.
Sure.
I think that would answer some of the things in my opinion. I think we need to figure out whether this is an ordinance or a resolution and how those two dance on a dance floor, or if they dance on a dance floor. So I'm at least for tonight, I would support postponing indefinitely and tackling it next month.
Councilman Koenig, I would counter that by saying, why don't you pass it tonight and then give the town manager and town attorney the 30 days to create a resolution and amend the fee schedule to include the items that you mentioned?
Because I think in my mind, the question is, can you, and Ed, has it been done in your towns? And Doug, has it been done in your towns? Can you amend an ordinance by a resolution? Can you amend a law with a resolution? And Pete says, in his opinion, yes.
I would say I've never seen that, but the ordinance does say this ordinance
Can be updated by
So in
resolution.
that case, maybe, but I think that's why there's a question.
Yeah, I think that question is still in my mind. So
What I would not want to see happen is for a member of the public to question our ordinance, and then we get into
That's why I don't-
issue
exactly.
legally. So
Same page.
I told Pete earlier today, I said, I think it's probably easier just to do it as a resolution. And that way we could, we can change the fee schedule. Make us put in $10 for a flash drive.
Right,
I don't
yeah,
know. Give a
exactly.
number,
Yeah,
So
number.
we can make all of those changes and just have it to you next month. And as our attorney said, there's really not that many changes between what we currently have and what's in here, except now that we have a full policy. So if someone comes with a FOIA request in the next month, I don't think it really
You're gonna
makes
handle it.
much of a difference.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Mayor, I would make a
Yes, sir.
motion that we postpone indefinitely second reading of the FOIA policy until we have the stated questions made clearer.
Thank you, sir. Motion made to postpone indefinitely until we have everything in place to be cleared out. I'll be looking for a second on postponing indefinitely.
Second.
Second made, discussion.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Balazar, by postponing this item indefinitely, that just moves the same exact item to the next meeting agenda, right? So we have to have another item for the resolution, correct? That doesn't amend this item to turn it into a resolution. So we'll have two action items.
It doesn't, but
No, you could,
I am going to prepare a resolution for the next meeting based on what I've heard.
Obviously.
I'm going to give that to Doug, and I assume that he will put it on the agenda
All right,
for the
so
next meeting.
just for clarity, Old business will include second reading of this ordinance, and then new business will include a resolution. Yes, it will. The way
will.
your motion is stated, Councilman McKendry, it will. You'll have to vote this down and then adopt the resolution.
It will.
I think that's correct.
It will.
Okay, just clarifying.
My head shake was that you wouldn't have two, depending on how you answer the stated questions.
Well, postpone indefinitely means just kick the can down the road.
I know exactly that, but my point is we may be dealing with an ordinance next month and not a resolution, or
Okay.
I'm just not going to vote second reading when I have questions.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem.
But to Councilman Brock's point, does that mean, because the whole resolution and ordinance thing is a little bit confusing, but does that mean because the ordinance has already been voted on once, to Councilman Brock's point, we still would have to address that and create a resolution? So what would we have to do? Kill the ordinance and then pick up the first reading on the resolution?
Also, what you could do instead is
We
simply
can vote
against
we
it.
can vote second reading down.
So vote
Just
it
vote
down.
it, vote it down tonight,
And
and
then,
then next month we'll bring you a
Make a
resolution.
motion to approve and then just vote no.
Okay, and I'll be glad to do that, Mr. Mayor. I'll withdraw my motion and make a motion to approve as presented.
Thank you. Motion withdrawn. Motion to approve as recommended. Councilwoman, oh, you need discussion? Okay.
Who seconded it?
I
No,
need a
I'm
second.
waiting on the second.
Oh, I'll second that.
I'm
I knew
looking at her,
exactly.
Bradford. All right, motion second, discussion.
No.
Hearing none, all in
Better do a roll call.
roll call vote.
All right. Councilman Hovis. Councilman
Oh,
Brock.
whoa, make sure we know what a vote is.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Hovis, you would vote yes here.
No, the motion is to approve.
Approve.
Second reading.
Sorry, Councilwoman Hovis, I'm wrong. I'm voting no.
Hey, I got this table.
Okay, sorry.
All right. So, okay, so Councilwoman Hovis is a yes. Councilman Brock.
No,
She's a no?
she's a no.
Okay.
because
Oh,
she
sorry, we have a
doesn't want
no.
approved.
It's a no, you're
It's,
correct.
it's, a-
motion is to approve.
Councilman Brock.
Motion is to approve. I vote yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Fripp.
No.
Councilman McHenry.
No,
What word was that? Net?
no.
Okay. Mayor Griffin.
no. Motion failed, 4-1.
We'll come back next month with a resolution.
Thank you. It's all good. Second, item B, second reading, action item, discussion and approval of ordinance 2026.007 and the ordinance adopting the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget for the town of Blythewood. I'm gonna look at either our interim manager or manager, but I do know we have one member of council with amendments, Mr. Driggers.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'm assuming that you did get the documents to go back into your books. I think they were brought down. Okay. So the amendments, and of course, those were included in your package. So digitally, you've got the same information, but the hard copies were brought down just a little bit ago. We made the amendments from the meeting last Wednesday. All of those amendments are in place. There are notes in those in the exhibit to the budget ordinance for each of those. I did want to point out that that in that, and I think it's what's driving some amendments, that there are some allocations that were provided for, that were recommended in the original budget. The amendments that were made at the last has some agencies and programs that are not in the budget. And if there's any clarification that's needed on any of that, I'm certainly glad to provide that. But we went through and looked at everything that was listed, and we identified what was either not funded or what was funded in sections of the budget. So if there's any information that's needed for that. But what happened is we had $53,350 of items that were in the budget at the beginning of the workshop that were not funded. You added an appropriation of $25,000, $5,000 each to each of the 5 members of council. And so the point that I just wanted to make there is that that would give you about 45% funds to fund any of those other items, or if there are any amendments to replace any of that funding, that would take care of some of that as well. But glad to answer any questions that anyone may have about who was impacted, what amounts, and those types of things. But we know exactly what those are.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Councilman Brock.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To Mr. Drigger's point, you did say you said 53,500 in some total?
Of everything that was identified.
Yeah.
Yes.
And well, but to my point, some of those items were reappropriated to other line items. And so that number is actually, in my opinion, about 25,500. We could go into that later, but I don't think, quite frankly, don't think it's necessary. But I would like to propose the following amendment, that we appropriate an additional $10,000 to line 235110-375 special events dash community for 235110-375 3 and 235110-375 4, 3 being Blythewood High School for $5,000 and 4 being Westwood High School. I assume that's their athletic boosters club for $5,000 each. So that line item would go to, it's currently sitting at $10,000, 5 for Rib Fest and 5 for the Women's Open. That would go from 10 to 20. And then the subsequent decrease would come, I guess, 23, 9100, 600, the transfer to H-Tax LGIP would go from 250, 400 to 240, 400.
Councilman Brock, what was that, the $10,000, what was that move to, 23?
Where's the new?
Yeah.
235110-375. That's under hospitality tax, special events, community. We have 2 line items, Rib Fest and Women's Open, each receiving $5,000 each. Blythewood High would receive 5, and Westwood High would also receive 5. Those were accidentally omitted in at the last budget hearing.
I'll second that motion.
So we're adding in Blythewood High.
Motion made to add $10,000 for the Blythewood High School and Westwood High School Booster Club. Councilman, motion made and seconded. Discussion. I may have misunderstood earlier in my briefing. Did you add back in for the cab Macedonia Round Top?
Nope, that is what council discretionary funds are for.
This is part of my discussions
Yep.
earlier today, so I want to make sure. All right. All right, thank you. Motion made, motion second. Further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, sir.
Councilman Hovis.
Yes.
Councilman Brock.
Yes,
Mayor Pro Tem Fripp.
Yes.
Councilman McHenry.
Yes.
Mayor Griffin.
Yes, thank you. 5-0. Any further?
And just as so that will increase, the corresponding is that will increase the expense, obviously, and then it will reduce the transfer
Yep.
to,
LGIP.
yep,
Yeah, 240 to 250 to 240.
just so everyone's aware.
Yep.
Thank you. Any further amendments, council?
I would like to point something out, actually. There is honestly, a scrivener's error in your actual ordinance. If you go to section 4 of the ordinance itself, but not the budget, somehow in all of our machinations the last couple months, a sentence got dropped. And so in section 4, there should be a sentence that says, contingency funds appropriated within the general fund may only be expended by a majority vote approval of town council. That is not in the current ordinance that y'all have in front of you. So I would like to have a motion to put that back in if you guys want it in.
Can you repeat that again?
Sure.
Mr.
So
Poland?
in section 4,
Yeah.
the actual ordinance, there should be a sentence that reads, contingency funds appropriated within the general fund may only be expended by a majority vote approval of town council. Somehow that sentence got lost in the multiple versions.
It was in first reading.
Okay,
It
so
wasn't
then,
first
so then I'm going to make a motion to approve, and I can just say as amended.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so Mr. Mayor, I'll move to approve second reading of ordinance 2026.007, adopting the fiscal 26-27 budget as amended.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I was going to add, Doug just held these up. I was going to say, before we do this, can
Let's get to, can we,
Doug go over this information he presented to us, which has to do with the budget?
all
But
right.
I'll be glad to second
Yeah,
that.
let's get a second, go to discussion.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Second discussion.
So what is in our packet that was emailed out, that verbiage is incorrect
That is correct.
and would be corrected by what you just read.
That's correct. And then, and you wanted me to go over the
Please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is what I sent y'all last night, and it's in your additional packet for you today. We have the master fee schedule for town hall. That's the first 2 pages of the colored sheets. And then we have the following 4 pages are the master fee schedule for facility rental. In terms of the town hall fee schedule, nothing has been changed. Everything that you see here is what is currently in the code. And so it's just a way to kind of put it in here, and then an ordinance coming up later tonight is to remove it from the code, and this will be where it lives from now on. And so the first page or 2 is basically, like I said, nothing has changed. In the next 4 pages, we have the master fee schedule for facility rental. And this is what one of the things that he was asked to do. And so I took the information that he had, spoke with Kim, and put together this facility rental fee schedule. In this, so now we have wedding packages, we have things divided out between regular Saturdays and Fridays and Sundays versus peak Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We have new pricing for the pergola outside if you want to have just an outdoor wedding without all the stuff that you get in here. We have new pricing for the social event packages, which is basically parties that are not weddings. Then we have pricing for the business and conference rentals. And so before, everything was all in one master pricing. Now we have 3 different packages that you can choose from. And those packages that we kind of list, what you get for those packages. I also put in here, probably doesn't need to be in the fee schedule, but it's just part of what I was putting together was the scheduling disclaimer, kind of going over what we discussed last Wednesday night. 12-hour wedding package is the most important thing. So that is what gets the longest horizon. You can sign up 2 years in advance, it's fine. But then 12-hour social event packages are number 2, 6-hour weddings, 6-hour social event packages, and then the 12-hour and 6-hour business and conference rentals. I took out the specific days because it gets really confusing, but effectively, we don't want a 12-hour business and conference rental on a peak Saturday. But 14 days out, no one's scheduling a wedding 14 days out in June, probably. And so if someone wants to do a craft fair in here, we'd be happy to rent the building out. But we want to make sure the wedding has first dibs for a long time horizon, and then the social events, and then the conferences. I also have the pricing in here, new pricing for chair upgrades, table linens, all of those sorts of things. And then we have new security deposits. Actually, that is not on the changes sheet, but they are a little bit different than they used to be. We also have the new pricing for the amphitheater. It used to be, it was a bit more confusing, so I think it's a bit more simple now in terms of how pricing works for the amphitheater. And then lastly, the multi-purpose fields. And so that's all your actual numbers. And then in the sheet behind it, this is your change sheet. So you can see what it used to be versus what it is now. And so what we tried to do was just to ensure that the wedding packages are not as expensive as Will's suggestions. Like I said on Wednesday night, this will be a 2-year growth in terms of the pricing. And so the pricing is a little bit higher this coming year than where we currently are for, like, say, peak Saturday or peak Friday and Sunday for the weddings. Likewise, with the social events, everything's round about the same. It may be a little bit less because we expect to see there's a lot of compression right now going from where we are to the next wedding price. It kind of squeezes the social event pricing and the business pricing. So trying to thread that needle between all of these different things. Some of these drop, but again, our goal is not to have the most money per event. Our goal is to make good money with the weddings on the weekend, on our peak events, but get more usage on the Monday through Friday. And that's why you'll see like some prices dropping for like Monday through Thursday business and conference rentals. We don't get a lot of those. And so we just want more people to be in here 7 days a week. And so that's what we've tried to do with all of the different price changes here. Do y'all have any questions?
Again, Mr. Mayor, I would just reiterate, none of the wedding cost went down. It was stepped up on this structure to get to the next structure, which is noted. And Doug, am I correct that the most expensive facility rental for a wedding by the new fees would be $6,100,
That's correct. That's a peak Saturday.
12 hours?
Yes. And our peak is March 1st through June 30th, and then again, September 1st through November 30th. That's based on Kim's suggestions.
And do we know, just for information, is this half of where Will wanted to get us? Is this?
Roughly.
Okay.
Roughly. I think 7,600 was his pricing for peak Saturday for the 12-hour wedding package.
So this is the graduated.
This is the halfway there.
Yeah, okay.
So we can get a good idea of whether or not we've outpriced our customers, or hopefully, with the marketing that Jordan will be doing and other things like that, we should be able to get the people coming in at that price.
And then the only other recommendation I would make for clarity would be, I'm assuming the new fees, after second reading tonight, the new fee would go into effect at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, honestly, I would say, I think the budget,
July 1.
July 1,
Or,
the
yeah,
fees will go in
July
on
1.
July 1. And so I'll be getting with Kim to make sure that we will get these, wherever fees are displayed, they will be ready July 1.
Okay.
Published digitally by July 1? This is something
That's
that the
plan.
public
That's the
can,
plan. I know that the website that we currently use is difficult for changing, but I think we have the lead time, so we should be able to do that.
this will be the first time we've ever been able to display a menu that's organized and itemized and lets the customer see up front. This is really nice, I think.
Thank you. Further discussion?
And I think it was mentioned earlier, but remember, anything that is under contract is under its current cost. Yeah.
Further discussion? If not, roll call vote, sir.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, roll
I'm
call.
waiting for Ms. Durst to do that. Councilman Hovis,
Yes.
Councilman Brock,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Fripp,
Yes.
Councilman McKendrick,
Yes.
Mayor Griffin.
Yes, thank you. 5-0 passes. Congratulations, council, and congratulations, Town of Blythewood, in adopting the first budget under the new form of government. We'll move to new business. Item A, first reading, action, discussion, and approval of ordinance 2026.008, an ordinance amending the code of the Town of Blythewood to remove specific fee amounts and to provide an applicable fee be established by the town. Mr. Doug.
Okay, so this is the second part of what we just passed. So what we've done is there's a number of sections that list both Doco Manor fees and other facility rentals, as well as a chapter listing all of the planning and zoning fees. And so in section 93.03 user fee schedule, we've taken all of that chart out and replaced it with what we see here. Just says fees associated with this shall be established by the town master fee schedule as adopted and amended by town council. It also gives me authorization to ensure that staff follows that fee schedule. And then likewise, we have an amendment for chapter 155, which is the planning and zoning fees. Pretty much says the same thing. We're taking those fees out, and they instead will be found in the town master fee schedule. So from now on, we'll just be amending the fee schedule, and that will happen annually. There are still other fees hiding in the code that I have not found yet, or just haven't had time to move out yet. And so no doubt we will see changes to the master fee schedule again before the end of this year. I want to clean all of those out so I won't have to worry about trying to find them and just having still out there a year from now. Business license fees, building permit fees, things of that sort. I'm going to try to either pull out, or I think in the case of business license, it has to be in the code, but it'll be in both places. But this way, there's one place for the public to go look and see all the fees that we charge.
Thank you, sir. We just finished that, so it sounds like you got it handled and it will be put into the code.
I'll make a motion to approve first reading.
Thank you. Looking for a second. Second discussion. Hearing none, we'll roll call vote.
Be Councilwoman Hovis.
He's,
Yeah. Mayor Pro Tem Fripp.
Yes.
Councilman McHenry.
Yes.
Mayor Griffin.
yes, thank you. Vote passes. And for the record, Councilman Brock stepped out to the restroom during that vote.
Put that in the minutes.
Next item on the agenda, first reading action item, discussion and approval of ordinance 2026.009 and ordinance annexing property at the Southwest Community Road. Mr. Doug, Community Road.
Sure. So this is a landlocked piece kind of hiding inside the overall Scout piece that was never properly annexed into town. And so at this point, the property owners are asking that it be annexed into town just to be where it should have always been.
Thank you, sir. Was this the old Fairfield Electric site?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any discussion, council?
Planning Commission?
It did.
Good to know. Thank you.
Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, sir.
Councilwoman Hovis.
I'm sorry. I'll be looking
So
for a
moved.
motion to approve.
So moved.
I'm looking for a second. Second, discussion, hearing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Hovis.
Yes.
Councilman Brock.
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem Fripp.
Yes.
Councilman McKendrick.
Yes.
Mayor Griffin.
Yes, thank you. Passes 5-0.
Ms. Tiffany, I'm sorry you sat here through all of that.
Yeah, you got one more. Yeah, two, yeah. Next item, resolution for the training center. Mr. Poland.
Okay, so now we have two resolutions to accept roads for Scout. And so the first one is the training center road. I think this is what we have to accept the road so that the training center can be addressed off of Scout Motors Drive. So that's where we're at.
All right, can we do both of these at the same time?
They're both resolutions, so I would say no. We should probably do one each.
Yes, sir, thank you.
And if I may add, Mr. Mayor, quickly, just this will not necessitate any changes to the resolutions that are being addressed tonight. And actually, doesn't really change anything substantively, but it's my understanding that before these deeds and easements that you're looking at tonight are going to be approved, before any ink is going to be put on these, There is still a matter of the county conveying some property to DOT for the widening of Community Road. So the actual parcels of property that are being accepted by the town in the final documents will be less than accepting that property that is still going to be deeded to DOT. So obviously, Mr. Poland and myself will look at the documents before anything is finalized, but just for the sake of everyone knowing, there may be some very minor changes to these documents.
So layman terms, DOT hasn't received the right of way yet, so it's going to lessen
It's going to lessen
what
what,
we're annexing in.
correct. Well, no, not
The-
annexing. What,
the
it's
road
going
that
to
we are
lessen the overall acreage of what the town
Oh,
is
gotcha.
accepting. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And so should we go ahead and do it now? I mean, so we're good to go
We're
ahead and
doing
do
it.
it now?
Yes, I asked the same question today. And yes, I think we're good to go ahead and do it. But like I say, when the final documents are signed, the description may be, we've got this description, but it's less than accepting whatever it is that DOT was deeded as part of that right-of-way conveyance.
Okay. All right.
That's
Yes.
All right, thank you. Further discussion? All right, we'll vote on item C first. I'll be looking for a motion to approve as recommended.
So moved.
I'm looking for a second.
second.
Second discussion. Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilwoman Hovis. Yes. Councilman Brock.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Fritz.
Yes.
Councilman McHenry.
Yes,
Mayor Griffin.
Yes, thank you. Moving to item D.
make a motion to approve item D as presented.
Thank you. Looking for a second. Second discussion. Hearing none, roll call vote, sir.
Councilwoman Hovis. Yes. Councilman Brock. Mayor Pro Tem Fripp. Councilman McHenry.
Yes,
Mayor Griffin.
Yes, thank you. 5-0. Now you're good to go, ma'am. All right, next we'll move to executive session, per the South Carolina Code 30-4-70. One item pursuant to South Carolina Code 30-4-70. Receipt of legal advice regarding internal governance matter involving elected officials and discussion of legal and procedural options available to the town.
motion we move into executive session.
Discussion, hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it, thank you.
Want to make a motion?
Nope, I'll make the motion.
No.
You call for the motion.
I'm sorry, I'll call for the motion to come back into open session from executive session.
Mayor Pro Tem, I'll make the motion to reconvene at 8:45.
Second.
So moved. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, motion passed. We're back in.
No. Discussion and then vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, any discussion? Was there any, do I need to ask if there was any discussion in executive session?
No, just ask, is there any
Is there
discussion
any
on the
discussion?
motion?
Is there any discussion on the motion? Discussion? All in favor, signify by saying. Have it? Okay. Was discussion in executive session that requires?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, I have one motion that I would like to make, and forgive me for the length, but I would move that it is the policy of the town of Blythewood that no council member shall have access to any town facilities other than normal business hours, that no council member shall have keys to any and all town facilities, that the council directs the town manager to occupy the office currently occupied by the mayor, that the council, town manager can determine the location and utilization of hall at the town manager shall possess a P card, also known as a purchase, and that the council directs the town attorney to seek an attorney general opinion as to whether proclamations or awards are a function of the mayor under a council manager form of government, and provide an example to the attorney general as discussed in executive session.
Thank you, Councilman Brock. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. Let's take roll call. Mr. Coleman?
Sure. Councilwoman Hovis,
Yes.
Councilman Brock,
Yes,
Councilman McHenrick,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Frick.
Yes. Right?
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, I will move to adjourn the meeting.
Do we need to note that for the minutes that the mayor was not here after executive session?
Sure, I'm not sure.
Sharon said that she was actually going to watch the show tonight.
Okay.
TV.
Oh, we have a
The show,
motion
I
to
think that's-
adjourn. So we have
So
a
moved.
motion to adjourn. Can I get a second?
Yep.
Meeting adjourned at
8:48.
8:48.